I don't know if you. Yeah, there we are. Okay.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a great Thursday. How'd it work out, Matt? Did it work out? We hope. Regardless, it'll work out, right, Matt?
Yes, always.
Welcome to another edition of the Superstars Podcast, newly branded RE Superstars Podcast, as we work on a brand new way to showcase realtors all over the planet that are just doing this thing well, man. That's what I like to do. I like to talk about to people that have kind of just figured it out. I think it's fun, and I've actually been on a previous podcast with Matt. The dude is a complete rock star. I want to talk about him, what he does, all that good jazz. So, Matt, welcome to the virtual show, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Chad.
How's it working out? Did you figure it out?
I think it's working. I'm getting there, I think. Yeah. I think I'm good.
So, Matt Aragona, he is the principal of the Aragona team, predominantly Philadelphia-based, sells all around the Philadelphia area. Compass is your current home, right, sir?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And you have quite a story. For people that don't know Matt, the guy sold hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate. So he must have figured something out. What do you think?
Yeah, I figured a couple things out. Yeah.
And I want to dive into that. I want to give everyone a background about you and where you're from and that whole jazz, because I feel like I always have to give context. So the stage is yours, my friend. Tell us who you are, about your team, all that good stuff.
Absolutely, Chad. Thank you. So my name is Matt Aragona, guys. Nice to meet everybody. I am the team leader and principal of the Aragona group at Compass. Our main office is in Philadelphia, but we do service the tri-state area, which is maybe part of the secret sauce, man. You know, we diversified and we sell everywhere, you know, and I have a team of about 28 agents underneath me that's also service everywhere, and got licensed in 2011 as a solo agent, started building the team in 2014, came over to Compass in 2018, and you know, the rest is history from that point. Grew up in Delco, grew up in Springfield, Delaware County, moved to the city in 2009, and I've been living here ever since. I love the city life, but I also do love the suburban life as well. So it's you know, I get to enjoy both flavors of it. And yeah, man, we do mostly residential, a little bit of commercial we dabble with from time to time, but we really love that residential, helping people buy homes, selling homes thing.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. We didn't talk about it in the previous podcast. So what do you love about Philadelphia? What's your draw to it?
That's a great question, man. So I live down in Passyunk, and you know, Passyunk is definitely a little.
Is that the right way to say it, by the way?
That's how I say it. Passyunk. I think that sounds stupid, even if that's how you say it. We live out in Passyunk, and you know, Passyunk Ave from Broad Street to Dickinson is like the run of like the main commercial before you get down into Queen Village, and it is over 160 locally owned businesses. There is not one corporate business that exists on Passyunk. So it's all mom and pop, all local. Some of it's newer, some of it's been here for 100 years, but like, that's just a cool vibe. I mean, where else are you going to find that? You're not going to, not to shit on the suburbs, but you're not going to find that in the suburb. Maybe on Main Street and Media, but even Main Street has Iron Hill Brewery. It has a Trader Joe's. You know what I mean? All great businesses,
right?
But they're not local business owned for, you know, X amount of years. And that's just awesome. And you can find that in a lot of places in the city. Fishtown's the same way. You know, you go down Frankfurt Ave. South Street can be that way, you know. Grad Hospital, other side of South Street has a lot of local owned places, and it's city's great that way. So we're not a corporate city. We have
Yeah.
even if you think like Steven Star restaurants, Steven's from Philly. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, his spots are awesome restaurants. So restaurant scene's great, local business scene is great, and it just adds a flavor to the city that you gotta love. And if you like, the walkability of things and the convenience of it, it's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, and that's the quintessential answer, man. I think it's coined the city of neighborhoods for a reason, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
1000%.
we've done a lot in the past, and I really want, in terms of your story and the other podcast, but I really want to dive deep into you as a businessman, because I think it's one of the most fascinating things. 28 agents is like having to think about the responsibility of 28 children. And I'm not calling them children. I'm just saying that, like, in your mind, you want to make sure they get fed. You want to make sure they grow. You want to make sure they're hitting personal goals. I mean, dude, that's a lot, bro.
No, it is. It is. And it is and it's not. It's something that I enjoy. So I like helping people grow their business. And I learned that through real estate, which is great. I didn't know that was an area that I wanted to drive towards as I continued in my real estate career, but it absolutely is. So I've enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think our team is different than a lot of other teams. And the thing that makes it different that I've kind of cultivated and really drive is I don't look at the team as my children or my minions or anything like that. And they are each their own business owner. And my responsibility is to help support them in growing their business, their real estate business.
That's
how
good.
to
I
do
like
it.
that. Yeah.
And that gives ownership back to them. So when I'm doing business planning with everybody in the fall, we'll start doing it soon this year. We're talking about their goals.
Yeah.
Their goals are what are important, and helping them achieve those goals then adds to the total group success in the end. And that's been how I've been driving towards it since we started, and it's served me well. And we have a really amazing retention rate on the team. The only people that really leave are people that are getting out of the business, because it just wasn't the right fit. And otherwise, people are growing their business and loving their career.
That's a solid answer, dude. I like that. That makes it. And you know what's funny? Every time I ask you a question, you're not like, I don't know the answer. You know the answer, Matt.
Have to.
I love that about you, man. You know why you are where you are. It's dope. Listen.
10 years ago, I didn't know the answer to give you. You know what I mean? Like, but I do now. You're right. I mean, it's. I know the answer now, and that helped also build the culture in our brand, knowing that answer.
So it's funny, dude. I talk to agents all the time in my daily practice, right? And they always say the same thing to me, which is, and I shouldn't say that. It depends who they are. Some have figured it out, right? A lot haven't figured it out. And they get very hot and cold. Things will go well. Things won't go well. You're staying relatively consistent. When you got in and started to see something, what did you see? Give us your whole approach to this business, because there's so many ways, right, to do it. What was your approach? What was your formula?
Well, so I'll kind of answer that two parts. So there's so many ways to find business, right? And whatever your super strength is where you should lean into as at least your primary driver of finding the clients. But where I think most agents fail, and you can always lead right back to it. Without fail, you can lead back to it. How many people are you talking to every day about real estate? And it doesn't have to be how many people are you talking about. Do you want to buy a house today? Do you want to sell a house today? Do you want to rent? But are you having real estate or real estate adjacent conversations? And how many of them are you having? How many people are you meeting with to talk about their plans next year, 3 years from now? If you're not having those conversations and you're not becoming the top of mind person, that's where it happens, man.
It's just that simple, you think?
It is. It's that simple. And most people, the common thing I hear is, I don't want to bother people. I don't want people to think I'm salesy. And you got to get over that thought that your job is to help that person with their real estate needs when they're ready.
Mm.
And you can't make them ready. It
Mm.
is not my job to make you want to buy a house or sell your house now. It's my job to figure out what is going on in your life and how do I help you when you're ready. You know what I mean? And that is, and just continue to pile that list together. And as you move through the year or the years, those people then become ready. It's that simple. It's that simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. The problem then becomes, am I making enough income to wait, depending on who you're talking to? But that goes back to the thing, talk to more people.
Right.
You will create more chances by talking to more people.
I love that. And so give us literally, if we get more granular, if you will, how do you, is it basically you using that exact one simple thing, but doing it in different ways? So you may text, you might call, you might face-to-face, you might do events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is that pretty much how you game plan?
Yeah, so I'm a Tom Ferry coach, Chad. I told you that before, I think last time.
We're gonna get into that too. I love that stuff.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Tom last year was really hyped on, like, you need multiple lead gen pillars or verticals or buckets, whatever you want to call them. And an average agent, like at the beginning, you need a minimum of 3 areas that your business will come from. And the more you can add, the more you're bulletproofing your business against the ebbs and flows. But 3 is like the bare minimum of, like, I need to be getting lead sources from these 3 areas. So that's like new agent thought process. And then obviously as you grow your business, you add more and more buckets and you figure out your lanes and where you're going to get a lot of your business from. So, new agent, you're going to be sitting open houses. It's your easiest way to find it. So open houses, you got to be talking to your people, your sphere of influence, whatever you want to deem them, friends, family, coworkers from previous career, or if you still have a job now that you're working 2 jobs, they need to know you're a realtor and that you can help them. Yeah. And you got to not have commission breath when you're talking to them. You know what I mean? You got to just be like, when you're ready, you need help, I'm here. You want to see a house?
I like that. Tell people what that is. The commission breath. I like that.
Commission breath is you're more worried about the deal than the client because you need to get paid. And you can't be that way. You have to worry about.
We call that the scent of desperation.
Absolutely. It stinks. People can smell it, man. People can smell it. And that's tough if you have it, because you got to fight against it. You got to say, it'll work out if I'm doing the right things. Yeah. If I'm making my contacts, filling the pipeline. I don't have to worry about commission breath, because I will get that next deal. I will get that client. We'll find them a house, or we'll sell their house, and I will add that, as we move forward, and that'll all take care of itself. But it's not, that's the thing. It's easier said than done, right? That thing. Right. But back to the original basic concept. I need to be talking to people.
So I'm going to ask you averages then. How long should it take for that, if you're consistent? And the hardest thing is doing the work when you're not seeing results, right? And staying consistent. How long should it take if you're consistently putting in the time, doing the interactions? What do you like? What's a give or take for that for you?
I think if you're doing it at a high level being talking to 10 to 20 people a day, depending on the type of lead gen source, you should be transacting in 90 days. You should have your first deal. You should have clients. Let's say you're working with buyers, clients that are working with you, that you're showing houses, and that you're potentially writing offers in that first 90 days.
Interesting. So in theory, at what point, if someone from a financial perspective hitting it that route, obviously you have to have the ability to get to that point. At what point does someone turn this from a side hustle to a full-time career? And then my next question would be, are you seeing that in order to grow at certain points, you need it to be undivided 100% your career, or no?
Yeah, you eventually need to be full-time realtor with maybe a side gig if you want one. But to break through, you need to be doing this full-time. So that answers that last part of the question. I think it's not necessarily a time frame, Chad, as it is I need to be doing a deal a month.
Got it.
When you start selling a house a month,
got it,
and you're at a reasonable price point, let's call it 200,000 or higher, right? 200,000 or higher, a deal a month. would put you, so that's 2.4 million a year, roughly, right? You're doing 2.4 million in sales. You're probably bringing in about 50 grand, which, as a starting career, depending on your budget and your expenses, is enough. You know what I mean? Like, people are working 40-hour week jobs making 50 grand a year. So if you can make 50 grand a year commission based, depending on the person, you know what I mean? You should be in a good spot. And then you double that. Now, we were talking about lead generation, verticals, buckets, pillars. You do 12 deals, you now have 12 past clients. Now you have that foundation to start asking for repeat referral business because you did your job. You did your job well. When you're starting from scratch, you don't have that deal yet,
Sure. Yeah. And were you this conscious of all this in the beginning? Were you making it a point to be mindful?
Yes, I was. And my goal was to get to a deal a month, $250,000 price point, deal a month. I think that was 3 million in sales if I did that.
Yeah.
I did 1.6 million in my first year, my first 12-month cycle. And then I did 3.5 my second year. And then I had 4+ third year. And then I forget where. And yeah.
Well, I think it's important to note the core of your success is discipline, right? Because you probably, going in there knowing I need a plan and I need to be completely focused on doing the actions to bring the results, right?
Yep.
Day in and day out. It's just the difficulty isn't finding the diet. The difficulty is following the diet, right?
So when you get into the groove, this is the perfect real estate schedule if you're trying to be conversations based.
Yeah.
You do your lead generation, your lead follow-up in the morning, preferably 2 or 3 hours of that in the morning. That's the real job.
Yeah.
And then through doing that, you should be scheduling some sort of appointments with those conversations, and you do those appointments in the afternoon, evening hours. So lead gen in the morning, meeting with people in the afternoon. You do that, you build that habit that will produce results. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Then what you get to, and I remember being at this point when I was still fully in production, no team. If you miss one of those days, one of those lead gen days, you feel like you didn't do your job that day. And that's what you want to try and get to. That the job is the lead generation, the prospecting. I actually had a really interesting conversation with my coaching clients the other day, though, that it has evolved from that concept. Like, that's still the basic concept, but we are now marketers. So when we're doing our lead gen, we're actually marketing ourselves. And what we're doing right here on social media is a form of marketing ourselves to our people. And you need to be even more diligent about that now than 15 years ago when I got into the business. 15 years ago, it was still very core conversation. Now it's almost more top of mind. Am I staying top of mind with everybody so that when they need me, they know they can reach out?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's so funny, man. You make it sound so simple. You make it sound so simple, and the difficulty is not the conceptualization, it's the execution and consistency. I mean, it's crazy.
I also think, and with the social media aspect of it, this is the hardest part. And I struggled with this for a while, and I probably even still do to a certain degree, but people get in their own way of like, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to post the wrong thing, this, that, and the other thing. And it's sure, don't look like an idiot.
Right.
You're not going to assume you won't put garbage on your post story reel, and post it because people need to see that you're doing real estate activity, or what are you doing in your life, or how do they combine, or what's going on, the successes or the challenges. People are interested in what you do in your life. So you have to post.
Yeah.
And you have to post consistently. That doesn't mean every day or 3 times a day, whatever you want to. People love being on social media, post 10 times a day. If you don't love it, post a couple times a week so people see what you're doing,
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And I think the other big question I have for you is from a coaching perspective, and then also as a team leader perspective, are you able pretty quickly early on to figure out who's going to make it and who won't based on habits? Or have you seen how difficult is it for someone to actually convert themselves for lack of a better term, to become the machine?
Yes. You know what it is? This is once again not the way I do it is not how it has to be done, but my way
Sure.
works. Fair enough.
Sure.
So
And most people struggle just to find a way, Matt, to be honest.
that's fair. Yeah. That's really interesting thought, Chad.
Yeah.
So my way is the contacts way, right?
Mhm.
So you need to be having conversations. So if somebody's really struggling with that task, that's where I go, well, how else are we going to find business? Like,
Yeah.
what do you know? And then most agents will want to go, well, I want to market. I want to, and I was talking about marketing, right? But sending out postcards to 10,000 people usually doesn't work. Doesn't mean it won't, but you're also putting a major cost out. And I guess one of the things that I believe in is being proactive.
Yeah.
I need to do the outreach. I need to put it out there so that it comes back. If I'm just sending out marketing and not doing any type of proactive outreach, I can't control the conversation. And I need to be able to control the back and forth conversation, whether it's through text, phone, or email. I have to send it out to see if it'll come back. I got to fish, and proactively fish. And, marketing is not always that. That doesn't mean you don't do marketing, but you can't rely on just doing social media posts. Most people can't rely on that. Most people can't rely on that. Some can, some are successful with it, but
I'll tell you what, it's interesting because now I get why you're at 28 people. I get why you have the retention, and I have very similar conversations across the board in all aspects of sales, which is regardless of all the things we're going to show you are the ways, and I use the best analogy, Matt, and I bet you'll get this right away. What's the best CRM to use?
The one that works for you?
That's it. It's that simple. The best CRM is the one you use. Right? So as ridiculous as it sounds, it's not that complicated. It's just, are you really going to make the commitment? Right?
So this is where the complication comes in, right? If you want to, or complexity comes in.
Yeah.
So so back to the agent being successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
If they're doing the work and they're not seeing the success, then it's skill based, and potentially we can train to be better. Right now, when I'm bringing an agent on, I have to determine, does this person have that skill set, that talkability, or that business mindset, or whatever it might be that would make them a great agent? Because there's not one lane to be a great agent, right? There's one lane. You have to be active and you have to do stuff, but there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, as they say. So now, if they have the skill set and they're not succeeding, then it's probably the activity they're doing, and then it becomes a question: why aren't you doing the activity? So that's where, as like a coach or team leader, I have to look at both things and say, you got the skills, so what the hell's going on? Or you're doing a lot of the work and you're not seeing the success. So let's talk about, what are you saying? How are the conversations going? What does your follow-up look like? But they're really only two levers, to be honest with you. So as a coach, I need to look at those two things.
I'm going to tell you, though, that helps with sanity, because the one thing I've realized, man, and I'm so guilty of this, I get overwhelmed with ideas, like so overwhelmed to the point where I'm like I don't know which direction to go. And you are so on point with just keep it so simple, man.
Keep it simple, stupid is a thing I like to think. And the other thing, and this is a little bit to the left of that, but it's like less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
I'm so guilty of that. I don't owe you for this session, by the way.
You're welcome.
So I want to pivot into coaching. So I know that you have been a receiver of coaching in the past, and now you are a giver of coaching, and for people that don't know, Tom Ferry is the elite of the elite. He is the brand, the known entity, the name in real estate agent specific coaching. So we'll get to that. But overall, I want to ask you, why coaches work in your opinion, what a good coach is supposed to do for you. Give us the whole philosophy on coaching from your perspective.
Absolutely. So I'll borrow a lot of this from my coach training, because I think it's right on point with what coaching should be. Coaching is not therapy. Coaching is not talking about the past. Coaching is about looking at somebody's business and how do we build it from here. So that I think is very important. Doesn't mean you don't have to have a vent session every once in a while about XYZ, but you're not doing therapy. It's not
Right.
you're really trying to figure out what's going on in the person's business. What are they willing to do? What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What do we need to do to build forward to the goals of selling real estate? And I really enjoy that part of it. And then I went to another coach training this year, and another layer to that is coaches should be helping agents build models for their business. So systems and processes or models that they can actually create a business and grow a business. And most realtors are just realtors. They just don't have a business. They don't they don't know they got to pay taxes. They don't have anything separated, and they're just making a commission check, dropping it into their savings or their checking account and writing checks out. And even as a single solo agent, you can run it as a business. You don't need to have a team with admin, all this stuff, but you can actually track your numbers, track your expenses, know your P&L. You know what I mean? Like, you need to know these things. You need to know this. So
yeah, I mean, and I guess my question is, prior to you doing Tom Ferry, when did you have coaching, or did you have it? Is that what led you to that?
So I was when I was at Keller Williams, I was in MAPS coaching for several years. I forget how long I did that, and a lot of this was taught to me then. I mean,
Anthony Castaneda says hi, by the way.
Nice, tell me something.
He's like, I love that.
What's up, Anthony? Yeah. So KW did a great job teaching you that you got to have a business. I mean, they knew that. They knew that, and Compass absolutely knows that. Compass is a business. And I think, a lot of agents just, you're in the grind, so you don't even think about it. I think this is a somewhat silly saying, but most agents work in the business, meaning they're doing the sales, right? And, most don't ever have the opportunity or the coaching to work on the business. And I don't know if on is sales and in is sales. I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? I've leaned into in is the sales part and on is on the business part.
Yeah, just to illustrate a point. Yeah, I got it.
But you need to separate the two. And ultimately, there's a really good book. You've probably read it, The E-Myth. Do you know The E-Myth?
I didn't read it. I'm not going to lie. I've yet to make it cover to cover on a book since high school.
I read the beginning. It's all good. The beginning is good enough. It sends the gist of it. So, E-Myth is that as an entrepreneur, which we both are, and everybody listening to this, if you're a realtor or lender, is that you have to wear all the hats. So you're the CEO, you're the COO, you're the CFO, you're the CMO. You're doing everything in the beginning, and you only have 100% of yourself. So ultimately, you need to sell. So you have to be the sales driver and try and wear all those other hats. And that's really why it gets hard. It's that you just don't have enough capacity unless you're driven to be operationally brained and you want it to be tight. Most realtors, just from a personality type, are not, process driven. They're mostly sales. It's probably like industry wide, 70% are sales driven. The other 30% have, a sizable operation.
I actually thought that number would be even higher. Interesting.
I don't know. I'm making numbers up. That's from the BSA or BSA.
I love it. Oh man, that's it's so I guess ultimately, to sum it up, is the coach supposed to keep you accountable for doing the things you should be doing, as well as teaching you a way? Or like, when does coaching become ineffective? Is it that's another question, I guess.
I think coaching becomes ineffective when the person you're coaching is not coachable.
Makes sense. Yeah,
I think that's when it ends. You know what I mean? If somebody's not coachable, or you're just, now I have a certain amount of experience, and then my capacity for coaching, you probably need to move to another coach. I have a pretty high level of experience, but like for instance, I've only, and I'm probably being generous, I've only scratched the surface of AI. I don't really care right now. I don't. I just don't. I just don't care about AI. I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s, so I think it's going to kill us all. So I'll stay away from it a little. With that said, I'm going to Tom Ferry Summit next week, and it's going to be all and I'll learn a lot about it next week and what I should be doing. And now, people, my admin underneath me, my marketing manager, Lauren, I have her looking into AI. So my job is actually I shouldn't have to learn about all the AI. I should hire the right people that can do it. So I'm not like, don't use AI. I'm like, I'm just not using it. So much to do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing. But I don't need it. I really don't need it. I mean, in 2025, Chad, it has not affected my business yet. Now that doesn't mean 2026.
I love it.
Is that fair?
You know what it is? What I like about you is you're very comfortable in your own skin. You do what you do well. You execute it at a high level. And whenever other things come about, you learn the power of delegation, right? Which is awesome. I mean, dude, that's a superpower, man. That's hard. That is hard for people. It really is. But listen, I told you I'm going to keep it to the point. We dropped a bunch of nuggets. We could talk about a ton of stuff. I'm going to bring you back to talk about markets and talk about Philadelphia market and all that good stuff. I want to have you on as a repeat, but
absolutely,
you're good, man. Like it's refreshing. It's great to hear someone that's just blunt and to the point, and it's like, yo, come on, dude, just get to it. But thank you for giving a little bit of your time today, and everyone. It's the Aragona Group. By the way, this is interesting. The AragonaGroup.com is important. Aragona Group is somebody else. Did you ever see that? I went there yesterday.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's a different language. It's like Spanish or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we've had a lot of iterations of the name, unfortunately. And so we were originally at the very, very beginning, Matt Aragona and Associates. And then we trimmed it down to Aragona and Associates to be look more professional. We didn't need the first name, which was fine. And then when we came over to Compass, we were still Aragona Associates, rebranded it. And then in 22, there was a lot of like rumbling of all these different real estate team names. And that apparently, and I don't know who's listening right now, but apparently in the state of Pennsylvania, the true way a team is supposed to be named is the team leader's name, one variation or another. The Aragona Group, the Aragona Team. Actually, it was supposed to be first name, last name, team group. So there was supposed to be this big change where everybody did that, and nobody did. Me and several other people. So I changed, and I felt like Aragona Associates actually still checked the boxes, right? but there was a debate between brokerage and sale. And anyway, so I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. So I changed the name. We changed it to the Matt Aragona Group in 2022, and just a mouthful. And I wanted it. I didn't want the first name. So a couple years later, I brought up the subject again because not a lot of teams even changed their name from whatever to whatever. And we trimmed it down this year to the Aragona Group. And then, it's to marketing again and branding. Part of the issue was it was like, our Instagram handle was still Aragona.associates when we were the Matt Aragona Group. And the website had half and half. And like, we just went one foul swoop to the Aragona Group. I don't know if the hashtag works, but the hashtag is tag. So we haven't quite figured that out, but it's better than nothing.
I like that. I think that's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
When it was Matt Aragona Group, it was MAG. So it was one vowel away from another very famous, acronym. So we didn't go that way.
At the core of it, it's still you, though, right? Yes. They can't take your name.
Right.
Well, I got to tell you, it's always a pleasure. We are gonna be putting out a bunch of reels. This was a fire episode, man. Talk about nuggets. nuggets in a short period of time. So everyone, if you don't follow the Aragona group, I implore you to. If you were interested in Philadelphia area real estate and neighborhoods, they do a great job of spotlighting those. And then if you are a salesperson, man, this guy's got fire. He really does. I hope you keep coming out with this stuff, Matt. I love it, man. I'm a sales guy. Yeah, I love it.
A regular on your show, man. Let's do it.
I love it. I'm like a fanatic to this stuff. I don't know why. I guess it calls me a true blue geek. But anyway, thanks for watching another edition of the Superstars podcast. We will see you again soon. Everyone have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chad.
Peace.